Hey guys, I'm Jack and he's Nob, and we're going to be teaching the lesson one for this lesson. We're going to be teaching lesson one, and that'll be reading passages. And we're going to start at 5 o'clock p.m. on the dot. So we're just going to wait for some more people.
Are there any people out right now?
No,
There are no people in classroom.
no, not yet.
Not yet.
There probably won't be. Not today.
Really?
This is just practice.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. So like, what if they gonna watch like a YouTube video kind of?
Yeah, this is what they see.
Okay.
Not today. This is just practice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like a delay.
Yeah, that's like a slight delay.
So like,
But that's basically it.
Turtle Oprah
Mm.
really likes Chikota. It's a future reference. Hey, so how do I? Oh shit. It's about
No cussing.
Okay.
That's like one of the big rules of streaming.
Okay. Anyway, how do I sign up for a account?
Well, just sign up. Yeah.
As a teacher, are you giving me your permission or what?
Yeah, I'm giving you permission.
I agree with you. You didn't put the terms.
Yeah.
You know, talking about it. All right. Sorry, I signed up.
Alright. I'll make you teacher later. We'll do this first.
All right, that's fine. So how are we gonna teach this? We're gonna go through these like
Yeah.
practice tests, right?
Okay, so it just turned 5 o'clock, so we're just gonna begin the lesson now. So as I said, this is lesson one, and we'll be going over the reading passages of the SAT. So for those of you who took the last SAT, there's quite a few changes in the new SAT. And before there were sentence completions, which were basically fill in the blank questions, but now there's no more sentence completions. Now there's just reading passages that you have to interpret and answer questions to. So every SAT will have three type of subjects covered in their passages, and there'll be one passage dealing with U.S. and world literature, two passages dealing with history and social studies, and two passages dealing with science. It's really good knowledge to know these coming into the test, because then you'll have about a general idea of what the passages will be talking about before you actually read them. So for the science passages, they're actually like data interpretation questions. You're going to read through the passage, and then there's going to be graphs, and you look at the graphs, and using the graphs, and you can answer the question. So there's some general approaches you can take when trying to tackle the SAT reading passages. So the first strategy is to skim over all the questions and plot them accordingly. So right when you open up the test for the reading passages, just look at the questions. Skip the passage for now. Um, so here you see the passage. Just skip it and go directly to the questions, and look for the questions that say this, as used in line 1 and line 65. So plot the questions at line 1 and line 65. Plotting questions allow you to focus your reading when you get to it, when you actually start going through the passage. Also, for questions that ask for in general, save those questions to answer for last. Now, also underline any vocabulary that is mentioned in the questions. So if we look back at the test, let's see, right here. In question A, it says, as used in line 2, form most nearly means. So you go to line 2 and you underline form right here. Underline form. So when you're reading through it, you'll know to focus your reading when you hit this word. You read a little bit above, read a little underneath, and that should give you a good idea of how to answer question number 8. Now, read over the passage really carefully, underlining key information that you think will help understand the passage's tone and main ideas. Box proper nouns, dates, and time indicators. As you come across the plotted questions as you're reading through the first time, read 2 sentences above and below the plotted area and then answer the related question. So again, we plotted a question. We plotted the question and it asked for form. So we start reading the passage now. Once we plotted all the questions and we read to this plotted place, we say, oh, there's a question that asks about this. So let's read this. Kira came directly, breaking all tradition. Was that it? Had he followed form? Had he asked his mother to speak to his father to approach a go-between? Would she have been more receptive? So you read this, and now we go to the question. Question 8. As used in line 2, form most nearly means A, appearance, B, custom, C, structure, D, nature. So now that we know the answer choices, we can go back and see which one would fit better. Had he followed his appearance? No, that doesn't seem very right. Had he followed his custom? Perhaps. So we don't cross that out just yet. Structure? Was that it? Had he followed structure? Had he asked his mother to speak to his father to approach a go-between? No, that does not sound right. And last one is nature. So look back. Had he followed nature? Had he asked his mother to speak to his father to approach a go-between? No, that's not it. So when we look at this sentence, you can see that this is a custom because this is a rule that he has to follow when trying to speak to his father. So therefore, 8 is B. So you keep on going through each plotted question, just like how I went through it, and it should be really effective and time efficient. Once you finish the passage, begin answering questions that you were not able to answer on your first run through the passage. Save main idea questions for last. So as we're reading, it would be a really bad idea to read the first paragraph and then try to answer question 1. Question 1 would be, which choice best describes what happened in the passage? Well, we only read paragraph 1, so there's no way we'll be able to know what the main idea is. So therefore, save these type of questions for last. We read through the rest of the passage. Read through each answer choice for each question and underline 2 to 3 words for each choice that seem to sum up the general idea of that answer. Be on the lookout for things you can eliminate. Underline only what separates the answer choice from the other choices. Look for patterns within the answer choices. Do not choose the answer choice that looks right, except for one word is most likely wrong. Remember, half right is all wrong. There may be some questions that there may be some answer choices which seem pretty right, but even if there's one word making the answer choice wrong, then that is a wrong answer choice. Any tone shifts within the passage will be reflected by the first and last sentences or paragraphs. If you're confused about any tone shifts that occur within the passage, refer back to the first and last sentences, or even the first and last paragraphs. It can help you regain your bearing. Try to pace yourself through the new SAT. The entire reading section is around 53 questions, and you'll have an hour to do it. So you have about 1.25 minutes for each question. So as you're working through the SAT, make sure to keep an eye on the clock. Um, and and you should probably gain a good understanding by taking a lot of practice tests. So um, before taking the SAT, you have to make sure to go through a lot of practice tests and gain your own type of feeling on how much time you have for each question.
Also, when you start at the beginning of the section, sometimes the questions they get progressively harder. So a lot of times you want to make sure that you spend less time on the questions at the beginning. Therefore, you can spend more time on the later questions at the end of the section.
Right. So here's some question and answering tips. Read the entirety of each answer choice. Answer choices must be 100% correct to be the right answer. Even if half of it is true, if the rest of it isn't, it is still incorrect. That is, yeah. Look for words and answer choices that make it more likely to be incorrect. These include absolute languages, all, never, every, none, only, and must, and extreme language, derision, defile, euphoric, global, veneration, disparage, etc. Intensifying languages, two, more, extremely, seldom, most. Now, this doesn't mean that just because they have these words, it's wrong. It's just that if an answer choice has an absolute language that overemphasizes the answer, then it may not fit what the question is asking. And you can use that as a reason for why the answer choice is wrong and being able to eliminate other answer choices.
Yeah, sure. So which were you on? Answer choices. Yeah, so a lot of time they so watch out for correct information that doesn't answer the particular question. So a lot of times they'll try to throw you off by putting in a lot of extraneous information that you don't really need. Huh? Yeah, I'm viewing.
Oh, you're the one.
Is there one viewer?
Yeah.
I'm the viewer.
Okay. Oh.
Okay. All right. Answer choices that match your opinion but don't answer that question are incorrect. So make sure you're only going off the stuff that's in the passage. Like, doesn't matter what you think. If it doesn't say in the passage, it's wrong. So you go off what's in the passage. That's like the golden rule. Then questions and answers are often similar. Use these questions to answer to others. For example, if you see different questions with multiple answer choices, mentioning the isolationist nature of wolves, they're probably the right ones. And then, let's see. If your question mentions multiple lines, read the entire paragraph. That way you can get a sense of context. Don't, if you just take out a couple lines out of a paragraph, you don't know. because you're lacking context. So always look at context. Wait. Dude, we don't curse. That's the one rule. Huh? Don't curse. It's a live stream. Wait, but no one's watching right now. We're just doing it. It's like practice.
It's practice. I didn't mark it.
Oh, you did?
No.
So yeah, we're gonna be doing like a live stream.
What are you just training for yourself?
Alright, anyway.
I'm gonna go play fun now.
What the fuck? No, what the heck? Nah, you can come play soccer.
Huh?
You can come play soccer.
Come on.
I'm sorry, dude.
Don't do
You're
that.
not going to lock?
Yes.
Darn it. Let's go back. Alright, question does not specify any lines leading to last. In general, you can look at like the introduction, top sentences, and the first and last paragraphs. Like, make sure you read through the thing. When deciding between two answer choices, return to the passage and identify any words or phrases that the answer choices share with the passage. So again, make sure you're just going out what's in the passage. Don't like, if it's not in the passage, it's wrong. That's the rule. If you're stuck on a question that's part of a pair that asks for evidence from the passage, start on the second question and eliminate any answer choices / sections of the passage that do not support the first question. Use the remaining answer choices / sections of the passage to answer the first question. Then when answering main idea and tone questions, mark the tone of each answer choice. So each answer choices with tones that do not match that of the passage can be marked out. So make sure when you're reading, you look at what the author's trying to say. Like, are they trying to be argumentative? Are they trying to convince you with something? Are they just trying to give you information? Are they unbiased? Are they subjective? Are they trying to change your opinion? You're basically looking at that. So make sure you mark that. Like, it's not very often that tone will change like midway through a passage, but like it's possible. So make sure you look at that. When answering main idea and tone questions, okay, vocabulary questions are now strictly from the passage, so that's good. Before you might have to memorize a long list of vocabulary, but now you can get an idea from the context of the passage what these questions mean. So like a good strategy is like what we did before. Go in and substitute each answer choice word for like what's in the passage. That way you can like get a good idea. Read the surrounding sections of the passage to gain context. And then there's now going to move on to the special case, double long passages. These are passages, they had this on the old SAT too, where you're going to have two passages, one right after each other, and then you're going to have questions. The questions are going to refer to both passages. Sometimes they'll actually compare and contrast them. So you're going to have to make sure you know what passage you're looking at. So make sure you look at the question, passage 1 or passage 2, and answer the questions from there. So do the same thing that you did for the single passage strategies. Mark the questions that you're answering, plot the questions. So that way, when you're going through, you can get like an idea of what you're looking for. So once you finish passage 1, go and answer all the passage 1 questions. Same thing with passage 2. And then you're going to have questions that deal with both passages. Oftentimes, they'll compare like the tone or the content of the two passages. So from there, you're gonna have to read both passages, and you're just gonna have to like compare and contrast them. You're gonna have to make sure you use textual evidence. Again, if it's not in the passage, it's probably wrong. You have to be able to read between the lines, but you also have to make sure that's what was answered is in the actual passage. So yeah, that's for double long passages. So for every about 9 reading questions, you'll have around 11 minutes to complete them. Again, a lot of times for each passage, the questions will start off easy and then get progressively harder. So that doesn't necessarily mean you have an equal amount of time for each question, because you may want to spend more time on the later questions and less time on the easier questions. For the new SAT, there's no guessing penalty, so don't leave any questions blank. You're going to lose more points if you leave it blank than if you guess it and get it wrong. If you have trouble deciding what you think, use process of elimination and just try. Sometimes you'll have to take an educated guess sometime. If you find yourself short on time, you can scout out passages to determine the difficulties. This is probably like a last-ditch effort. Like, honestly, you want to answer all the passages, but if you're like running really low on time, maybe you've got like, I don't know, 2 minutes left and you still got like 3 passages, yeah, you're going to want to look and answer the questions that you can skim the passages, answer all the vocab questions, those are probably easiest. Then try to answer maybe some of the ones that take direct textual evidence. And then the tone questions may be a little bit harder to answer with such limited time. But again, do your best. You want to answer all the questions that you can. Watch your time. Of course, you don't have an unlimited amount of time. Probably the hardest part of the SAT is watching your time. Passages aren't hard. What's hard is answering them in the amount of time that you have. Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Great. Okay, so now we're gonna go through the reading passage section. So reading test, you have 65 minutes and 52 questions. Is there a way to mark this?
Probably. How do you know how many people? Is there no one in the chat room?
Yeah, there's just one viewer.
That's me.
That's you.
How do you see the comments? Like, if it's chatting.
Did I actually save it as a JPEG? Oh. Okay, so let's do this. Akira came directly, breaking all tradition. Was that it? Had he followed form? Had he asked his mother to speak to his father to approach a go-between? Would she have been more receptive? He came on a winter's eve. He pounded on the door while a cold rain beat on the shuttered veranda. So at first, she thought him only the wind. The maid knew better. She heard her soft, scuffling footsteps, the creak of the door. Then the maid brought a calling card to the drawing room for Chi. She was reluctant to go to her guest. Perhaps she was feeling too cozy. She and Naomi were reading at a low table set atop a charcoal brazier. A thick quilt spread over the sides of the table so their legs were tucked inside with the heat. Who is it at this hour, in this weather? She questioned as she picked the name card off the maid's lacquer tray. Shinoda, Akira, Kobe Dental College, she read. Naomi recognized the name. She heard a soft intake of air. I think you should go, said Naomi. Akira was waiting in the entry. He was in his early 20s, slim and serious, wearing the black military-style uniform of a student. As he bowed, his hands hanging straight down, a black cap in one, a yellow oil paper umbrella in the other. She glanced beyond him. In the glistening surface of the courtyard's rain-drenched paving stones, she saw his reflection like a dark double. Madam, said Akira, forgive my disruption, but I come with a matter of urgency. His voice was soft, refined. He straightened and stole a deferential peek at her face. In the dim light, his eyes shone with sincerity. She felt herself starting to like him. Come inside. Get out of this nasty night. Surely your business can wait for a moment or two. I don't want to trouble you. Normally I would approach you more properly, but I have received word of a position. I have an opportunity to go to America as dentist for Seattle's Japanese community. Congratulations, she said with amusement. That is an opportunity, I'm sure. But how am I involved? Even noting Naomi's breathless reaction to the name card, she had no idea. Kira's message, delivered like a formal speech, filled her with maternal amusement. You know how children speak so earnestly, so hurriedly, so endearingly about things that have no importance in an adult's mind. That's how she viewed him, as a child. It was how she viewed Naomi, even though Naomi was 18 and training endlessly in the arts needed to make a good marriage. She had made no effort to find her a husband. Akira blushed. Depending on your response, I may stay in Japan. I've come to ask for Naomi's hand. Suddenly, she felt the dampness of the night. Does Naomi know anything of your ambitions? We have an understanding. Please don't judge my candidacy by the unseemliness of this proposal. I ask directly because the use of a go-between takes much time. Either method comes down to the same thing, a matter of parental approval. If you give your consent, I become Naomi's Yoshi. We'll live in the house of Fuji. Without your consent, I must go to America to secure a new home for my bride. Eager to make his point, he'd been looking her full in the face. Abruptly, his voice turned gentle. I see I startled you. My humble apologies. I'll take no more of your evening. My address is on my card. If you don't wish to contact me, I'll reapproach you in 2 weeks' time. Until then, good night. He bowed and left, taking her ease, with effortless grace, like a cat making off with a fish. Mother, she heard Naomi's low voice, and turned from the door. He has asked you? The sight of Naomi's clear eyes, her dark brows gave Chi strength. Maybe his hopes were preposterous. Where did you meet such a fellow? Imagine. He thinks he can marry the Fuji heir and take her to America all in the snap of his fingers. She waited for Naomi's ripe laughter. Naomi was silent. She stood a full half minute, looking straight into Chi's eyes. Finally, she spoke. I met him at my literary meeting. Naomi turned to go back into the house, then stopped. Mother? Yes? I mean to have him. So I read through the passage just so that you guys could understand what exactly the passage is. But during the real test, I would have went straight towards working through the questions. So let's start with that strategy now. So question 1. Which choice best describes what happens in the passage? This is a passage question, so it requires you to understand the whole passage to answer this question. So we're going to put that question off for later. Which choice best describes the developmental pattern of the passage? Also another main idea question, so we're going to put that off for later too. As used in line 1 and line 65, directly most nearly means. All right, so let's go to line 1 and line 65. Line 1. Akira came directly, breaking all tradition. Was that it? So here we find what they were referring to, but when we see questions like these, we want to make sure to read slightly below to get a full understanding. Was that it? Had he followed form? Had he asked his mother to speak to his father to approach a go-between? Would she have been more receptive? All right, so now we know. Came directly. Look at line 65. I asked directly because the use of a go-between takes much time. So let's look at the answer choices. Frankly. Now let's substitute frankly for the line. So line 65. I asked frankly because the use of a go-between takes much time. It doesn't seem like the right answer, but it could work. So let's look for other answer choices. So confidently, line 65. I ask confidently because the use of a go-between takes much time. Either method comes down to the same thing, a matter of parental approval. Confidently does not work in this situation because right here, either method comes down to the same thing, a matter of parental approval. This does not show confidence. This is rather a resignation to the fact that whatever he does, it'll always come to this step. So that therefore, that's not really a show of confidence. So B is not a correct answer choice. We can eliminate that one. Without mediation. So mediation means without the middle steps. Without the middle steps. So let's see if this makes sense. Let's see. I asked without mediation because the use of a go-between takes much time. That sounds quite right. Let's look at with precision. I asked with precision because the use of a go-between takes much time. Well, precision means being close. Precision means getting down to the point. And that's not what it doesn't really fit because right here again it says directly is more because he wants to he doesn't want to go through this step. That's basically what he means. So 3 is therefore answer choice C. So let's take a look at the answer. So right, question 3, the best answer is C. She Akira came directly, breaking all tradition when he approached Shi and asked to marry her daughter. And he asked directly, without a go-between or mediation, because doing otherwise would have taken too much time, right? So question 3, the answer is C. Which reaction does Akira most fear from Chi? Now, this question is a little hard because it doesn't give you a specific line for you to refer to. So we're just going to have to, um, for this question, I would save it for last also because you have to read the whole passage to understand that question too. Let's move on to question 5. Which choice provides the best evidence for the answer to the previous question? So this is question 4. So let's skip that one too. In the passage, Akira addresses Chi with. So again, Akira is the one who is asking for the hand in marriage. So A, affection but not genuine love, objectivity but not complete impartiality, amusement but not mocking disparagement, or respect but not utter deference. Right. So Akira is addressing Chi, the mother. He's not showing affection, so therefore question A, um, answer choice A is not correct. Objectivity, but not complete impartiality. This is not. Akira does not really address Chi with objectivity either, so therefore answer choice B is wrong. Answer choice C, amusement, but not mocking disparagement. In no way is Akira mocking Chi, and you can see that um, through he bowed and left. That's showing respect. So 6, answer choice D would be the only one that's correct. And yes, choice D is the best answer.
How many more questions are there?
Quite a few.
I don't have it on there. I'm coming down here.
All right, so the main purpose of the first paragraph, this is a really easy one to answer. So we just go to the first paragraph and we read through that one. Akira came directly, breaking all tradition. Was that it? Had he followed form? Had he asked his mother to speak to his father to approach a go-between? Would she have been more receptive? We've already read that paragraph many times, but it's fine. So does that paragraph describe a culture or criticize a tradition, question a suggestion, or analyze a reaction? So let's look back. And says he breaks all tradition. So when you look back, the first paragraph is not to describe culture since he broke it. It does not criticize a tradition because there's no sign of the there's no sign of criticism to this culture. Question a suggestion. So was that it? How you follow the form? Or analyze a reaction. Right. So there's no sign of a suggestion anywhere. This is more of a confused question. So was that it? Had he followed forward? It's would she have been more receptive? These are all questions that cannot be answered. It's just more of um, the author asking questions that are unknown. So therefore, if we look back at the question, it is most likely D. Analyze a reaction. The author keeps asking questions because he's trying to understand the reaction. Question 7 is right. Choice D is the best answer. And we already answered number 8, so we're going to continue to number 9.
So number 9, why does Akira say his meeting with Chi is a matter of urgency? Line 32. All right, so we'll go back to line 32. Okay, his voice was soft. Oh wait, okay, Madam, forgive my disruption, but I come with a matter of urgency. So I guess we go question 9. We do. I should do the next one because I haven't read this passage. We answer the next passage that way.
We only do one passage.
Huh? We'd only do one.
Yeah. So why does Akira say his meeting with Chi is a matter of urgency? Right. So we go to line 32. The other teacher already read line 32. But it's best, of course, to read some lines above and some lines below to get a good understanding. Madam, said Akira, forgive my disruption, but I come with a matter of urgency. His voice was soft, refined. He straightened and stole a deferential peek at her face. In the dim light, his eyes shone with a sincerity. She felt herself starting to like him. So he has not yet told us why he has come with a matter of urgency. It's most likely still below. So we'll keep on reading. Come inside. Get out of this nasty night. Surely your business can wait for a moment or two. I don't want to trouble you. Normally I would approach you more properly, but I've received word of a position. I have an opportunity to go to America as dentist for Seattle's Japanese community. So here, it's very clear that this is the reason why it's a matter of urgency, is because he's got an opportunity to go to America. So we look back at the question. He fears that his own parents will disapprove of Naomi. No, this is not the reason, as we just previously read in the passage. He worries that Naomi will reject him and marry someone else. No, that's not it. C, he has been offered an attractive job in another country. This answer choice is exactly matches what is said here. I have an opportunity to go to America as then for Seattle's Japanese community. So you see, we look directly in the passage for the answer to this question, and so therefore 9, the answer choice C is correct. Question 10. Which choice provides the best evidence for the answer to the previous question? Right. So this question basically asks us where in the passage can we find the answer to the previous question, and we already found that. And if we look back, where did we read that? That is line 41. Line 41. Right here, line 39 to 42. So the answer choice B is correct for question 10. Let's look and make sure. Correct choice B is the correct answer. All right, so we went through all the answers. We went through all the questions that we could answer just by looking for directly in the passage. So let's go back and remember, do not forget to answer the questions you have skipped. So let's go back to question 1. And after you answer all these questions, you now pretty much have a good idea of what the passage says. So now this asks you what happened in the passage. So we probably now know, we have a pretty good idea. We just look through the answer choices now. One character argues with another character who intrudes on her home. No, this This is not a correct answer choice because, as we've read, it's about a young man asking for a woman's hand in marriage. So this is it's not accurately described that. One character receives a surprising request from another character. Possibly, yes. She she was taken quite by surprise by Akira's request. Answer choice C. One character reminisces about choices she has made over the years. No, this is not correct because this is about Akira's ask for a hand in marriage. Answer choice D. One character criticizes another character for pursuing an unexpected course of action. This is incorrect because nowhere in the passage does she criticize Akira for asking a hand in marriage. Therefore, the answer to question 1 is B. Let's look back and make sure that's correct. Correct. The answer is B. Let's go to question 2. This is the other question that we skipped. Which choice best describes developmental pattern of passage? So this is basically asking. This is also another main idea question. Answer choice A. A careful analysis of a traditional practice. Now, is this a careful analysis of a traditional practice? No, because Akira in line 1 almost it says he breaks tradition. So therefore, this answer choice cannot be right. Is it answer choice B? A detailed depiction of a meaningful encounter. Possibly. Let's go to question C. A definitive response to a series of questions. Or D. A cheerful recounting of an amusing anecdote. So if you don't know what an anecdote is, an anecdote's a short story based on the past. So this is actually more told in present time. So answer choice D is not right. So answer choices A and D are currently eliminated. So let's look back at question B. Answer choice B. A detailed depiction of a meaningful encounter. Right. So this is a good possibility to be the right answer because as you look through the passage, it is an encounter. Yes. So this word is correct. Meaningful? Yes, because he's asking for a hand in marriage. Is it detailed? Yes, quite detailed. Because he goes through and talks a lot about how he did it. A detailed depiction, right? Because he it describes how he asked for the hand in marriage quite detailed. So Mr. Joyce B is most likely correct, but let's not get ahead of ourselves and look at answer choice C again. A definitive response to a series of questions. No, that's not right because this passage is not consisted of unlimited amount of questions. There may be just questions in the beginning, but that doesn't mean the whole passage was questions throughout. Therefore, answer choice C is incorrect. So answer choice B is the correct answer choice. Now we answered question 3. We skipped question 4. Which reaction does Akira most fear from Chi? So questions like this again is quite hard to answer because it doesn't really tell you where to look for the answer. So let's go find where the answer is. The answer will be in the passage, so we just got to find it. So let's quickly look through the answer choices to see about what we're trying to find. She'll consider his proposal inappropriate, so we're gonna have to try to look for if this is true. She'll mistake his earnestness for immaturity. She will consider his unscheduled visit an imposition. She will underestimate the sincerity of his emotions. Let's look through and try to find some evidence. This is how she viewed Naomi, even though Naomi was 18 and training endlessly. Depending on your response, I may stay in Japan. I've come to ask for Naomi's hand. Suddenly she felt the dampness of the night. What is you fear? What is you fear? Does Naomi know it? We have an understanding. Please don't judge my candidacy by the unseemliness of this proposal. So here he expresses a fear. So this is good evidence for this answer choice. This answer choice. She will underestimate the sincerity of his emotions. I asked, let's keep reading to make sure this is the right answer choice. I asked directly because, right, so he goes on to explain why he did this. So the answer choice is D. So let's make sure that's correct. Actually, actually, the answer choice is A because let's go back. Let's go back to here where we found the evidence. Please don't judge my candidacy by the unseemliness of this proposal. To underestimate the sincerity of his emotions. So no, he doesn't actually. Candidacy means is a synonym for appropriate, and so therefore the answer choice A is more correct because right there he's not really talking about his emotions. Right here, he says, "Please don't judge my candidacy by the unseemliness of this proposal." So therefore, he never talked about his emotions in that. So therefore, answer choice D is incorrect, and therefore answer choice A is correct. So let's look for any more. Right. So we also skip question 5. Which choice provides the best evidence for the answer to the previous question? Right. So let's go back and find exactly which line we found that in. Line 63. So answer choice is C. Right. And we also skipped 7. The main purpose of we answered 7. We actually answered all the questions now. So that's basically how you tackle the reading passages. And of course, we went through it quite slowly because I ended up reading through the whole passage so that you guys could have a good understanding as I explained and worked through. But what you would usually do is you would again start with looking through the questions and plotting stuff and skimming through the passages and focusing on where your questions are plotted. And of course, answering the plotted questions first and skipping the main idea questions for later. So that's how you tackle the reading passages. If you have any questions, make sure to ask the chat, and I'll be here to answer any questions. Thank you for listening and have a good day.